You're experiencing Hoops Peterson himself on VSiN, the sports betting network.
And we're back here on the Greg Peterson Experience on VSiN, the sports betting network, and it is great to be joined by this man, Tanner Kern, one of the best in the business. He's over there at DraftKings, doing a great job handicapping a little bit of everything, and Tanner, much like myself, loves taking a look at the baseball cards, so let's do that right now. As Tanner, it's always great to get you aboard. Thank you.
Greg, thanks for having me. The Friday card is loaded, so very happy to take a look at it today.
Absolutely, and it is locked and loaded, and we've got ourselves what I think is going to be a tremendous matchup out between the Tampa Bay Rays and the San Diego Padres. The Padres are throwing Yu Darvish, Shane McClanahan on the bump for the Tampa Bay Rays. Been a little bit up and down for the Tampa Bay Rays, who lost a pair of games to the Oakland A's. Not very often that you find the top team in the league getting a 4-game split against the bottom team in the league, but that's where we're at there. But right now with the Rays, find them about a minus 115 to a minus 120 favorite with McClanahan on the bump. Not sure how you view this one, but I do think that the Rays should be a slight favorite. I would like to see this get back down to the opener of more like a minus 110 to a minus 115, but really love the way that Shane McClanahan is going, and with a total of 7.5, I know that's a low total. I think there's good value on the under with this good of a pitching matchup.
Yeah, I do like the under. The offenses are pretty loaded, so that's one reason I would stay away there and just lean towards Rays money line. Now, the Rays managed to salvage a series split against the Athletics, which they did struggle in that series a little bit, but overall, they're still the first team to 50 wins, and they are playing very well. Most of their wins have been at home, but they're still a solid road team, 19-15 on the road, and they'll face a Padres team that keeps getting better and better, but they just haven't really faced a good team lately. They beat up on Cleveland, they beat up on Colorado. So I'll trust the Rays here with Shane McClanahan on the mound. When you look at McClanahan, he's 10-1 on the season with a 2.18 ERA and a 1.11 WHIP. Over 82 innings, he's only allowed 62 hits, and he has 92 strikeouts. San Diego is going to have a lot of trouble with him on the mound. Then you go to Yu Darvish. He has been okay this season, but he's been struggling to get out of jams and struggling in high leverage situations. 5-4 with a 4.3 ERA. Does have a 1.16 WHIP. He can deal, but I do see Tampa Bay chipping away at him throughout this game and finding a way to win. The Rays have scored over 100 more runs than San Diego, and I'm going to trust them in this spot here for a fair price. I'd like to see it dip back down, but I'm still willing to take it at what it's at.
Yep, I'm in agreement with you there, and here's one that I've yet to hit upon on the show, as it's very interesting to take a look at this team, perhaps being in playoff position, the Miami Marlins. They're going to be facing off against the Washington Nationals. Sandy Alcantara is on the bump for Miami. Trevor Williams is on the bump for Washington. Total is 8.5, and this is just such a conflicting game because with Sandy Alcantara, he won the Cy Young Award last year, but he has been nowhere near what he was a few seasons ago. You've also got a Miami Marlins team that is currently last in terms of runs per game among National League teams. And you've got a Washington Nationals team that they don't strike out, but they really don't hit for power. And Trevor Williams, he's okay, but he's like not great, not terrible. He's about as milquetoast as it gets. Where do you stand in terms of this game? Because I do think that it's one of the more interesting and befuddling ones on the board.
Yeah, I hate to do it, Greg, but you know what? 2 negatives make a positive, so I'm going to take 2 bad offenses here and play an over of 8.5. Sandy Alcantara has fallen off the map this season. He's 2-5 with a 4.75 ERA and a 1.18 WHIP. This was one of the best pitchers in baseball last season, and he simply is not delivering. The WHIP is there, but he's also struggling to convert in high leverage situations. He used to benefit from the shift, but defenses now can't get to the balls that were used to be hit. He keeps the ball down. He keeps the ball on the ground. He does not allow a lot of elevation. But the fact of the matter is, without that shift, he has really struggled. So that's an issue right there. And then he's going to go against Trevor Williams, who has allowed 13 home runs this season, 21 walks in 65 innings. Williams has not delivered either. And both these teams, surprisingly, have gone over nearly as much as they have gone under this season. Now, a big reason for that is they have been giving up a lot of runs at times. But I'm still going to trust it here. I believe the combination of Alcantara and Williams should get this game over. Each team's OBP is right around 320. They've been consistently going over this total in their past few games. So I'm going to take a chance on it. And it scares me a little bit with 2 bad offenses, as I said. But bottom line is neither pitcher has gotten the job done.
Yeah, but what I think is really interesting about taking a look at Sandy Alcantara as well is when he's facing off against opponents second time through the lineup, he's actually done a relatively good job. Opponents are hitting right around about a 205 off of him, not hitting a lot of homers. That third and fourth time through the lineup has killed him. North of a 275 batting average out of the home runs that he's given up. He's given up seven in total. 4 of them have come the second/third time through the lineup with right around about 110 at-bats there. Meanwhile, second time through, 3 home runs, north of 220 at-bats. So that's probably one that if you like the over, maybe try to take a look at a live over as well, because you might be able to get a better number, and then perhaps you get that nice 5-4 game. So I think that that's a good way of taking a look at it as well. And then what I think is interesting about this one is the Oakland A's have actually covered the run line a lot recently. They've covered the run line in 9 out of their last 10 games, but Tanner, I think that you're much like me. You always like to take a look at the full season's worth of data, and right now we've got the Phillies throwing out their Taijuan Walker and J.P. Sears going for the A's, and the A's are currently about a plus 120 to a plus 132 underdog, despite the fact that they have won 19 times straight up this far this season. I'm not sure about you, but it feels like there's massive overreaction and massive recency bias on this game, as I think that the Phillies should be a much bigger favorite.
Yeah, Greg, I live in reality. The fact of the matter is the Oakland Athletics have not gotten the job done at all this season. I don't care that they had the 7-game win streak. I don't care that they challenged the Tampa Bay Rays. Philadelphia is starting to play really, really well, and so are the Athletics, but overall, when you look at Philadelphia, they're a much more talented team. When Brent Rooker is your best hitter, I'm not concerned, and that is the case for the Oakland Athletics. Now, the Phillies are kind of looking like they did last season. Slow start, and now they're trying to figure it out. Kyle Schwarber has 18 homers on the year. Nick Castellanos is locked in at the plate. And Bryce Harper, we haven't really talked about him that much, but he's quietly making noise with 391 OBP. He's been very good. We just haven't seen the power yet from him. That should come as he continues to get more at-bats. Philly looks good, and when I can get a plus money run line here, I'm going to take it against the Oakland Athletics all day long. Phillies don't have the pitching advantage in this game. Taijuan Walker and J.P. Sears have close to identical numbers, but I would give the slight nod to Sears here. But it's the Phillies offense against an Oakland team that has struggled. They haven't been good at home. Yes, they've covered recently, but this is a prime run line spot. You have the Philadelphia Phillies, who are better than the Athletics on the roads. They're guaranteed the 9 at-bats. It's worth taking. Now, unless there's a reverse protest in Oakland, I'm going to stay towards the better team here, and that is the Philadelphia Phillies.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time I've seen a reverse boycott. I'm sure that it's happened in the past, but you typically don't see that with like food or beverages or anything like that, where it's like, out of spite, I am now going to invest in a bunch of chicken wings or anything like that. Yeah. So that was very interesting, as we do have Tanner Kern. He does great work over at DraftKings, joining me right here on the Greg Peterson Experience as we're taking a look at the baseball card. And Tanner, I know that you're a man that you hold near and dear to your heart, the city of Boston, and you've got the oldest rivalry in baseball. It is the Red Sox, it is the Yankees, and you've got a pretty close to pick 'em price. We've seen the Boston Red Sox become a very slight favorite in a lot of books, between about a minus 110 to a minus 120. Total on this game is 9.5. Where are you looking here? Because what I think is so interesting is that these two pitchers, and Domingo Germán and Tanner Houck, match up last week. That was a 3-1 game, so a 9.5 just feels too high to me.
Yeah, both guys pitched well. I would definitely look at the under. But sometimes when you see that, the matchup a week ago, and then you see it in the second time a week later, the trends tend to reverse, right? Runs are going to be scored here. But I'm just going to take the Red Sox on the money line here. They tend to elevate their play against quality opponents, and that's good news because they're playing a quality opponent in the New York Yankees that aren't necessarily playing their best baseball right now. The only reason that I would like the Red Sox more here is if Garrett Cole was on the mound, because Boston tends to get to him a lot. But anyway, it's going to be Domingo Germán versus Tanner Houck. Houck's going to pitch the Red Sox 3-6 with a 5.23 and a 1.26 whip. The thing about Houck is he's not the best when you get the third time through the order, but I don't see him being out there too long. He pitched really good against New York last week, went 5 innings, only gave up 3 runs. Went 6 innings, allowed 2 runs. Typical start for him is 5 innings, giving up about 3 runs, but 6 and allowed 2 last week against New York. Houck is a guy that can pitch against Domingo Germán because Germán has the ability to get hit by the Boston Red Sox. Last week, Boston didn't necessarily have the big hit off him, but they did have productive at-bats, and I think they're going to build off those this week. Herman's got a 3.49 and a .99 whip, but he's not an elite strikeout pitcher, and he does give up homers. And that's good news for a Boston Red Sox offense that is cooking right now at the plate. I think last week we saw a low-scoring game. This week it's going to be a little higher. I don't know if it gets over that 9-run total, but I still like Boston to win.
And to your point, the New York Yankees, without Aaron Judge in the fold, 4 runs or fewer in their 7 out of their 9 games without him. And for the Boston Red Sox, biggest home and road splits in terms of batting average in the big leagues, and they're at home in this one. So that is going to bode very well for them. As always, boding well for us is getting Tanner Kern on the show. He does great work at DraftKings, and while he's doing a great job day in and day out looking at the baseball card, he's also getting set for football. He's got a few futures for us, both in the college and pro ranks, and we're going to be hitting upon those next right here on the Greg Peterson Experience on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.